This is Joe Malone, and with me, the head coach, general manager of the North Iowa Bulls, Todd Sandin. It is the Bulls Chat podcast. Good morning. Well, actually, good evening. I'm losing track of what day it is and what time it is.
Hey, wherever we're at right now on our day, the North Iowa Bulls are Fraser Cup bound, and we're proud to be doing it.
That's what we like to hear. It was another 3-game series, another decisive Game 3 that the North Iowa Bulls had to go through. Your thoughts on, first off, back-to-back Game 3s, back-to-back do-or-dies 2 weekends in a row. Is that, is your stress level down at all now that you can breathe a little bit after that?
Yeah, probably a little bit. But I think what that really shows you is how good that West Division was this year. I think even New Ulm, who had a down year this year, if you park them in some of the other divisions, they're probably a playoff team. The West Division was really tough this year, and I'm not surprised that both series went the full 3 games.
Well, let's start with Game 1, which was Friday night here in Mason City, taking on the Wilmer Warhawks, and it was a 5-2 win for the North Iowa Bulls. And kind of the story of the game, or at least one of the stars of the game, Max Savaloya, had a third goal of the game to make it 3-1 Bulls at one point in time. Wilmer gets one back, and then Max answers back again just seconds later to make that a 4-2, which ended up being 5-2 win for the North Iowa Bulls. Talk to me about his performance and the team's performance in that game.
Well, I tell you what, that line, our gold line, which Max Center, Soda Isergai, and Garrett Freeman has been pretty darn good lately. They were together early in the year, then split up for a bit, and then put back together, I think, probably 3 weeks ago, and they really have been reaping dividends for us.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that, too, again on Sunday, where that same line was very instrumental in picking up the win. Saturday night, Bulls early lead in the game by the beginning of the third period. That lead had evaporated and was actually a deficit 2-1. And the Bulls fought as they might have, with as much as you could muster for 19 minutes of the third period, but unable to get a tying goal. Thoughts on Saturday night's game?
You know what? I love the way our kids played all 3 games. I just think we got in a little bit of penalty trouble on Saturday night, which takes a little bit of your mojo away and chemistry away. And quite honestly, you take some of the time away. When you're killing penalties, you're not 5-on-5 or have the potential of the power play, so to speak. So I love the game our kids played. We needed a bit more discipline in that game. And then just a little more luck around their net. We had some really good chances and didn't score. But that's kind of the team we have. We're not a high-flying, high-scoring Bulls team as people are accustomed to.
And then Sunday came down to this: win or stay home for the North Iowa Bulls or Wilmer Warhawks. And Wilmer strikes first 4 minutes into the game on Sunday night back here in Mason City. When that happened, what was the mood on the bench? What was the mood with the coaches?
I thought we were playing well. I thought our start was good. And you have those feelings, like you give up that goal, 5 minutes into the game, there's still a lot of time left and if you're playing okay, you don't really, you don't get that sense of dread or panic that early in the game when somebody scores, because you always assume you're going to have to score 2 to 3 to win every night. So as long as you're playing well and you're playing responsible and you're limiting their chances and maybe creating a few on your own, you don't really, you feel okay still at that point.
Now, Bulls end up tying the game by the end of the first period. How beneficial is that to go into the locker room with a little bit of momentum, especially in what could be, a very kind of grip your stick too tight of a third game, knowing that, okay, we're back to even Stevens as we start the second period?
Yeah, that's a great point, Joe. I mean, anytime you get down, whether it's early or just when you get down and you can rally back and tie it up before a period ends, it's a boost. Like you feel it's back to level again. And again, like you mentioned, like you're not gripping your stick as tight. You can relax a little bit. and just go play. And I thought our guys had a great second period last night.
Yeah, and they end up Bulls by the middle of the second up 3-1. That carries over into the third period. Soda Isogai scores with less than 8 to go in the game, making it 4-1 Bulls. The crowd getting real electric at that point. I don't know how many people were sitting down for the second half of the third period. But then Wilmer, it's, as we say, cliche, do or die. They pull their goaltender with about 4 minutes left to play, and things get chaotic. I mean, there's a lot of bodies on the ice at one point in time, and Wilmer gets a goal with that extra attacker. How are you feeling at that point in time? How do you try and preach, hey, be in the spot you need to be in order to shut these guys down?
Well, you and I, you brought that question to me last night after the game, and, thinking about it, they were down, They were down 3 goals. It was 4-1 at that point when they pulled them with, what did you say, maybe just almost 5 minutes left in the third, which I really didn't realize until I saw they had 6 guys in the zone. I didn't see the goalie go to the bench because the puck was in our end. And I snapped my head to the other end. I'm like, oh yeah, they got the goalie out. But when they scored that goal, obviously we weren't 100% prepared to have the extra guy down there, and that might have led to a little bit of the chaos that allowed them to get that goal. But as soon as we get to that face-off and we're reset and we know where the game's at, I mean, we're still there 4-2. There's not a lot of time left. We know they're going to potentially have to pull their goalie again soon. So then it's in everybody's mindset, and you're just more prepared. I think they just caught us a bit off guard on that second goal that they got.
And props to the Wilmer fans, by the way, for coming down. They had a fan bus that came down. They got loud, especially that first goal and then that second goal with the goalie pulled. Was that a little awkward for the guys on the bench to be like, why is everybody cheering for the other team?
Well, I mean, it kind of brings you back to the days of the old barn out on the fairgrounds when teams traveled pretty well. The visiting teams traveled pretty well, and it was a smaller space, so you had to get there, get your seats, and you had to buy your tickets early. I think it's great. I think it's phenomenal what the Wilmer coaches have done for that program, and the community's rallying around it. No different than ours. And I mean, that's why I've stayed here so long, and that's why I absolutely love coaching here. This is a great hockey community, and Wilmer, with how well their team did this year, it looks like they're developing some of that up there. And that makes the junior hockey experience so amazing when the buildings have energy, and they don't always have to be full to have energy, but when there's fans there and they're making a racket and a ruckus, it's a lot of fun to be a player, and a lot of times it's fun to be a coach in those kind of games.
Well, and I think our fan base, too, heard the cheers and went like, okay, well, wait for the final whistle to go, and you'll hear some cheers. It was loud. It was loud in there with the nearly 900 people, I think, on the Sunday night game. So what was the message to the team post-game when you had a chance to get everybody in the locker room? What did you say to them?
We can't say it on the air, but okay. It was we were very excited. They're very excited. Like, this has been, as everybody knows, it's been a crazy year to be an athlete. For what everybody goes through. I mean, from the staff level, the billet level, the player level, even our fans. Like not just the limited numbers early in the season, and now with things thankfully opened up a little bit, and people still being very responsible and respectful. The guys were super excited, Joe, and they've accomplished 2 of the 3 goals that they set out to accomplish, and thankfully we'll get a chance to hopefully take a run at the third.
And that third begins on Friday. North Iowa Bulls taking on the Sheridan Hawks, and then Saturday it'll be the Northeast Generals. Now, you do have some familiarity with the Sheridan Hawks. They were here for the Bulls Holiday Classic, and the Bulls picked up 2 wins against that. Is that the same sort of team you're going to be seeing at the Fraser Cup in suburban St. Louis, or have they made some personnel changes?
Well, they've made some personnel changes, but it's going to be the style of team. I mean, they're a high-flying offensive team. But they've added some goaltenders. Like they've added some defensemen. They've made some changes that bolstered their lineup as well since we played them. But I mean, there's a great friendship there between us and the Sheridan staff and their ownership. Obviously, they were here for the Holiday Classic, and they represented at our showcase style main camp last fall as well. So it'll be obviously hard fought during the game, but it's going to be a lot of fun to battle against friends of yours on the other side.
And then what do we need to know about the Northeast Generals? What do you know about the Northeast Generals?
That's a great question. I mean, we're really just picking it up on the video in the last day. Like Hixie was in this morning, and we were looking at some video of both teams. That'll be the way we tackle that, is just catching up on some games that they played recently and just trying to figure out some tendencies. And we always talk about it. If we take care of our game, that's our best chance to win. So we'll see what we can figure out about those guys. But I'm sure, I mean, they were a division winner out there, obviously the playoff winner, so they're going to be a battle-tested club.
Now, when it comes down to advancing from the round-robin play to semifinals, which will be held on Sunday, championship for the Fraser Cup will be Monday. Hopefully the Bulls get there, knock on wood, fingers crossed, all the superstitious stuff. Win 2 games, and you move on to the semifinals. That's pretty easy. If you don't win 2 games, things could get complicated with a bunch of math, but I think one of the tiebreakers is goal differential. Does that factor in at all with your setup for the game or anything else where it's like we need to pump as many goals in as we can?
Well, I think you have that mindset when you get to the games, but I don't think you prepare as such to try to do that. I mean, again, our focus is to win the game. And if you can get a benefit of piling up or stocking up some goals and not giving up many, that's always going to be a good thing in those style of tournaments.
And you say, hey, no harm. We don't mean to run up the score against you, but we kind of just want to, dot our I's and cross our T's.
Absolutely.
Well, I will be watching on Hockey TV and cheering along with all the other fans. Best of luck to you, Coach Sandin, and to the North Iowa Bulls at the Fraser Cup this weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. And I really want to thank everybody, our fans, our sponsors, our billets, everybody who does what they do to make this team such a successful and fun team to be a part of. We know you guys will be rooting for us, and we can't thank you enough for all the help and support that you give us.
Well, I look forward to hopefully catching up with you. Let's see, championship game is Monday at 3, so I don't know, maybe that evening or early Tuesday morning, okay?
That would be awesome.
That is the head coach, the general manager of the North Iowa Bulls, Todd Sandin, joining us on the Bulls Chat podcast.